Right now at noon, Governor Evers declares 2025 as the year of the kid in his State of the State address. How the governor hopes to support children across the state. Plus, the Trump administration sending active duty military troops to the southern border. What we know so far about his plans. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday afternoon. I'm Josh Spreiter. We begin at the state capitol where Governor Evers delivered his State of the State address. The governor declaring 2025 as the year of the kid. The governor centered last night's speech on taking care of Wisconsin's children through many different ways. He talked about helping support things like mental health, taking lead out of drinking water and housing. Evers says by doing these things, it will help kids thrive in the classrooms. The governor's declaration also pushes for more gun control legislation coming a month after the Abundant Life School shooting in Madison.
We aren't here in Madison to quibble about the semantics of the last shooting. We are here to do everything we can to prevent the next one.
Governor Evers is also pledging to Wisconsin immigrants in his speech, saying he would not abandon the values that, quote, make us who we are. Well, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the governor's address. Many Republicans saying the policy Evers laid out are both not doable and not affordable. Evers focused a lot of his speech on gun control policies like red flag laws and self-assigned firearm exclusion programs. Here's Assembly Speaker Robin Vos.
We already have background checks in Wisconsin. We already have provided over $100 million to harden schools. We have already put money into mental health. Unfortunately, sometimes people do bad things, and there's only so much that we can do to prevent it.
Instead, Vos wants to focus on high educational standards, deporting those who are undocumented and commit crimes, and not spending the budget surplus on expanding the government. In a statement to News 3 Now, Democratic State Representative Lisa Subic praised the governor's speech, saying in part, quote, Governor Evers made clear the Democratic vision for Wisconsin is one where our kids are cared for, our streets are safe, and our working families can get ahead. Financial concerns are bringing a change in leadership to UW-Madison's Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement. Effective immediately, Dr. LeVar Charleston is leaving his role as Vice Chancellor. He led the division for the past 3 years. Charleston says he will return to work as a professor at the School of Education. It comes amid an ongoing internal investigation into the division. UW says it revealed, quote, areas of concern about both financial operations and fiscal judgments. Provost Charles Isabel Jr. will take Charleston's place until a new interim director is appointed. Right now, a man is recovering after falling through the ice on Lake Mendota. First responders were called to the lake near Picnic Point just before 11 o'clock last night. The man who fell through the ice was able to use his cell phone flashlight as a beacon. An airboat was used to reach the man and rescue him. He was taken to the hospital. Well, we're still dealing with some slick spots out there today, but the sun is shining. First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. We're beginning a little bit of a warm-up, Blaze.
Yeah, we're getting certainly warmer temperatures than where we were in those single digits. Still a little bit below average, but for this time of year. But there is a nice warm-up as we go into next week. So if you are tired of even this cold, 30s and even maybe some 40s return by next week. But compared to yesterday, some of us are about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than where we were. That's because we got northwesterly winds. We finally got some snow on the ground here across southern Wisconsin, and that's also contributing to our cooler temperatures. You got fresh snow, which has a high reflectivity. So all the sunshine that we're seeing today is quickly going back. All that heat is going back into the atmosphere. Not to mention we got northwesterly winds. So while our temperatures aren't too bad, our wind chill values still make it feel like it's below zero in some spots, and tonight our actual air temperatures will dip below zero as well. So we're going to climb into those low teens to about the mid-teens, 15 for a high in Madison, Watertown, 16 in Janesville, 12 for those of us in Camp Douglas. As I mentioned, we are tracking a nice warm-up. 30s and 40s return next week. We'll talk about that, and if that also brings us a chance for snow or rain in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. President Trump is using his first week in office implementing executive orders to carry out his tougher border policies. He's carrying through with his campaign promise to use the military to help secure the border. CBS's Natalie Brand is in Washington.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is considering sending as many as 10,000 U.S. troops to the southern border and potentially using military bases to hold migrants awaiting deportation. The Pentagon has already said around 1,500 troops have begun to deploy to help secure the U.S.-Mexico border.
This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in.
Stepped up enforcement operations across the country have led to nearly 500 undocumented migrant arrests.
And they will be sent home. And those flights are already underway this morning.
Community leaders are warning migrants to be prepared.
If you are deported, you should already have paperwork set so we know where your children need to go. You need to have those legal documents, those powers of attorneys.
A federal judge in Seattle hears arguments today on lawsuits challenging President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. While here on Capitol Hill, Trump allies are working to double down with new legislation.
His historic executive order to end birthright citizenship marks a critical step forward, and now with the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2025, we can solidify these reforms into lasting law.
Attorneys general from more than 20 states suing to block changing birthright citizenship argue it's settled law protected by the Constitution's 14th Amendment. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Republican lawmakers who introduced the birthright legislation say they believe legal challenges to President Trump's executive order will be settled in the Supreme Court. The U.S. House has passed the Laken-Riley Act. This represents a first legislative win in President Trump's return to the White House. The measure requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain undocumented migrants who are charged with crimes, including theft and burglary. The legislation is named after Laken-Riley, a college student killed in Georgia last year by Jose Ibarra, an undocumented migrant from Venezuela. He has been convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Still ahead for us on a Thursday afternoon, why singer Post Malone wants you to run in circles. Plus, how JetBlue is giving flyers a new way to book their flights.
The nearly 70-day strike by Las Vegas hotel workers has come to an end. The Culinary Workers and Bartenders Union announced on X that they have agreed to a new 5-year contract with Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Hundreds of workers had walked off the job back in November due to disagreements over pay increases. JetBlue flyers can now book their flights using Venmo. The budget airline is the first to accept the digital payment option, citing convenience and ease for customers. Venmo has already been added as a payment choice on JetBlue's website and will be rolling out on the company's mobile app in the coming weeks. And Post Malone wants you to run in circles for his new collaboration with Oreo. The limited edition Post Malone Oreo cookies feature salted caramel and shortbread flavored cream swirled between one chocolate and one golden cookie. The cookies have 9 designs that celebrate the recording artist's albums and hit songs. The tasty collaboration hits store shelves next month, though fans can pre-order starting next week through Oreo's website. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
Here's a look at the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is up 339 points, NASDAQ down 56, and the S&P 500 up this hour at 9 points. We have today's ag numbers straight ahead, along with the first warn forecast. And later on Live at 4, we sit down with a renowned violinist in the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra. Pam Bianchi is out of the radio bar this afternoon, so here are your farm numbers. Well, new at noon, nominations for the 97th Academy Awards were announced this morning. Danya Backus reports from Los Angeles.
The Netflix musical Emilia Perez leads this year's Oscar nominations with 13, including nods for Best Picture and Best Actress for Carla Sofia Gascon, the first openly trans actor ever nominated. Wicked was also popular with Academy voters, nabbing 10 nominations, including for Best Picture and for stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. The epic drama The Brutalist also captured 10 nods, including Best Picture and 3 for acting. Rounding out the Best Picture category, the comedy drama Honora, the Bob Dylan biopic A Complete Unknown, the Vatican drama Conclave, Dune Part 2, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, and The Substance. The Substance brought Demi Moore her first Oscar nomination, up against Honora's Mikey Madison and Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here, beating out some big names.
Where is Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl?
No Nicole Kidman.
The performance
no
of her
Angelina
life.
Jolie. No Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
This is going to be talked about a lot today.
In the leading actor category, Timothée Chalamet earned a nod for his turn as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. He faces Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes in Conclave, and Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. At the start of the announcement, the Academy's leadership acknowledged the Los Angeles wildfires that have devastated so many in their community.
We will honor the talented filmmakers nominated today, pay tribute to our brave first responders, and celebrate the enduring spirit of Los Angeles and the film industry.
Conan O'Brien is set to host the awards scheduled for March 2nd. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Because of the fires, the Film Academy canceled its annual nominees lunch and downsized other events. On Wednesday, they announced the original song nominees will not be performed this year. Well, temperatures are gradually getting warmer heading into the weekend. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller with the first warn forecast, joined by a little special friend.
Yes,
who's that, Blaze?
This is Alvin.
Aww.
We're going to learn about him in just a moment, along with his brother. But if you were not a fan of the warmth, do not worry, or of the cold, rather, and you're a fan of the warmer temperatures, do not worry. They arrive next week. It is going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow. And as we look ahead to tonight, we are going to be a little bit on the cooler side as well. We're going to slip below zero. Today, not tomorrow, we're going to be cooler and sunny, as you probably already experienced if you've been outside. We've got another high pressure system overhead. And as I've mentioned before, they're like our fair weather friends. They bring the open skies. They bring the light winds most of the time. This time we got the light winds and the open skies. Winds turn clockwise around high pressure systems. So eventually southerly winds take over as we go into your Friday. That's going to bring back a little bit more cloud cover as we go into the start of your weekend, maybe even a few isolated snow showers, mainly north of Dane County as we go into your Saturday. Not looking at a lot in the way of accumulation, but maybe just a couple tenths of an inch as a quick moving low pressure system moves through parts of the Midwest and southern Canada. Following that, another high pressure system. That's going to keep us a little bit cooler to end the weekend and also clear out our skies as we look to end the weekend as well. But finally, we start to feel warmer temperatures return into the forecast towards the end of January into the start of February. We're looking at about a 30 to 40% chance of sitting underneath warmer than average temperatures, which is going to feel much nicer than where we have been, especially with those single-digit highs and those overnight lows and very dangerously cold wind chill values. This warm-up is going to feel nice, and it does look to maybe extend through at least February 6th. We're still seeing parts of southern Wisconsin in that 30 to 40% chance of sitting underneath warmer than normal temperatures from January 13th through the 6th. So what does that mean? What does that look like in terms of temperatures? Probably into those upper 30s to low 40s, and that begins as we go into next weekend. We'll be a little bit cooler than average not only today and Friday, but then starting Saturday onwards, all of our forecast highs are warmer than the normal high temperature for this time of year, and especially into the middle of next week. That's when we get into those upper 30s, if not the low 40s, especially there Wednesday when we're about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than average. So we're looking at the teens today, 12 for a high in Camp Douglas, 13 Baraboo, 15 Lone Rock, Madison, as well as in Watertown and Janesville. For the weekend, and again, because that low pressure system moves on through, maybe some light snow on Saturday, a bit breezy, we're above freezing, and then that high pressure system moves on in on Sunday, cools us down, opens up the skies a little bit, and we'll still be a little bit on the breezier side as well. But we finally got some snow here across southern Wisconsin. We're looking at about a grand total of just shy of 2 inches inches for the month so far. We could use obviously a little bit more. We're still below that, about 14 inch total for the month of January. But, we will take any snow that we can up to this point. Again, not indicative of how February will play out, but obviously it's been hard for local landscapers, for winter crops. So we'll take this little bit of snow and we'll keep our fingers crossed that maybe we can get a little bit more there on Saturday and then that following Saturday as well.
Hey, Alvin did pretty good there.
He's really calm. He's been nibbling my fingers just a little bit. I told him do not bite me, and he listened very well. So
all right, well, we're going to meet more on Theodore coming up here in a little bit. So Blaze, thank you, and Alvin as well. Howard is celebrating a special day in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're like us here in the Test Kitchen, all you have to do is mention the word pie, and everyone's ears perk up. I'm not sure what it is about pie that makes everyone so giddy. And with today being National Pie Day, I figured we should honor the occasion by whipping up a pie that has become one of our new favorites. We start off by cutting some candy bars into small pieces. As for the kind, that's up to you, but we think the gooier the better. We set those aside and mix together some cream cheese and sugar until it's smooth. Once it is, we beat in a couple of eggs, one at a time. Then we add in some sour cream and some peanut butter. And we keep beating it until it looks light like this. Now, we line the bottom of a store-bought pie crust that we've baked off with the candy that we've cut up. On top of that, we spoon on the filling and into the oven it goes until the center is set. After it cools, we finish it off with a basic ganache, which is simply some chocolate chips that we melted in warmed up heavy cream. Once it's set, it's ready to serve. I do have to warn you, though, that this is one of those desserts that seems to disappear in a flash. The good news is the recipe for our candy bar pie is online now, just in time for us to celebrate National Pie Day. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we created a gooier way for you to enjoy all of the, ooh, it's so good.
And when we come back at noon, we'll meet our Pets of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society. It is time for Potentially Yours. Lisa Bernard from the Dane County Humane Society is not here with not just one, but two special guests, and kind of different for us today here at noon.
It is. Surprise. I've gone small, like really small.
These are tiny.
They are, because they're babies. They're less than 30 days old.
So guinea pigs. And obviously they're a little hungry. It's lunchtime.
Well,
yes.
Now they're finally eating. Well, this one is. Tell us about them.
Alvin and Theodore.
Yes, I have Theodore. He's very much into his carrots and lettuce. He really likes his lettuce. So we transferred them from another shelter in Wisconsin. We had been working with a shelter to transfer their mom when she was pregnant. And she gave birth right before the transfer.
Oh, wow.
So we placed them with one of our foster families because they needed time to grow up a little bit. There were 3 piggies in the family. So their sister and mama have been adopted. So now they're looking for homes too. We also have another baby guinea pig who is from a different mama. And then we have a few adults. And yeah,
so guinea pigs obviously a little bit different. You know, how do you care for these?
So they do need a large cage to run around in. It's good to, so they're being adopted as pairs because of the bond. It's nice for them to have a friend.
And they're brothers too.
Well, and they're brothers, yeah. And you do want to make sure that you keep boys together with the boys and the girls together with the girls, because they had to get separated from their mom and sister at age 3 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah. So you want a big cage for them. You'd want at least 2 hidey houses, so that way if one wants some alone time, he can go in his hidey house. And to help with getting them more used to things in their cage, it's good to kind of create a trail for them. So from like the hidey house on one end, and then you've got like maybe a tube for them to run into, and then the hidey house is on the other end with just little gaps in between they could just run through and stuff. So
there you go. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for introducing They're hungry, obviously.
They
I can
are.
hear them even in my earpiece. So
I'm
you at
hungry
home.
too.
I love it. Lisa, thanks. So if you need to get your 2025 calendar, you can pick one that supports animals in need. The 2025 Best Madison Firefighters Charity Calendar features 12 months of Madison firefighters posing with local animals. All proceeds go to support the Dane County Humane Society. You can purchase yours at the Adoption Center, thrift stores, or any Madison area Mounds Pet Food Warehouse. Hey, some good news on last week's pet. Sapphire, the puppy, has been adopted. We knew that wasn't going to be a problem at all. So if you're interested in adopting Alvin, Theodore, or checking out the other animals of the Dane County Humane Society, go to giveshelter.org.
And my little helper says if you didn't like the cold, the warm is on the way. 30s and 40s next week. We stay pretty quiet with some snow chances on Saturday.
Thanks for joining us.